Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing a review on the Robert E.O. Speedwagon Super Action statue figure. Now, a few days ago I posted a poll on my community tab and asked which of the following figures you guys would most like a review on, and Speedwagon had won. And I understand why. Speedwagon is the newest of the figures, I do believe, and honestly he comes with a lot of very unique accessories that I feel like should be gone over if you do want to purchase this figure. And now the version I do have with me is the WinderFest, so I will also be going over the WinderFest accessories. The first thing I do want to go over is the price. If you got the WinderFest version, it would have came out to around 90 bucks, I believe, shipped. A little bit more, maybe 100 bucks to have it shipped over to the US. Here's a look at the box. Here's some of the poses that you can try to finagle him into. Those are all of its accessories. And right here's a nice panel of him. Say hello, I'm right here. There's his name, Robert E.O. Speedwagon. And that's just about it for the box. Aside from the regular hat and the fists that he comes in box with, he has this yelling head. And I will say, the sculpt on his heads and the hair pieces look amazing. They even have little joints on them. That one does as well. So I guess it does push back a little bit if you were to put this on the head. I believe that's better off because it then doesn't really cause cracks or whatever over time. He comes with these two open hands. These two pose-like stands, I believe these help him get into a certain pose, but I can't really tell what this hand is for. This is very unique. And these are both for the same hand. This is a weapon-wielding hand and a hat-wielding hand. Here's his revolver that he uses on Dio. I'm not going to push it in right now, but it goes into this hand pretty snug. Outside of those, he also comes with these hat effects. Speedwagon is known for being able to take his hat off and throw it, and like the brim of the hat comes off and reveals blades, and it becomes a weapon that he uses against Jonathan. I don't think he does it again, but it's a signature thing for him, and I'm really glad that they added a special effect for him. I haven't done this before, but I'm gonna see if I could put this together for you guys. So all the hats are a different size, and there's two sets. So I think they just kind of plug in wherever they fit best. I think like that. Okay, so there's two sets of these, and they plug just right in, and there's a little peg over here just to have it on a stand holding up. Obviously, I'm not going to have them with the hat on and also throwing it. That makes no sense. So they definitely took that into account, because check this out. You can remove the hat piece. I just scalped him, of course he'll be screaming, and it looks pretty good. Now I made one of these, so I used the other kind of effect, and I made one of these. So this one will be using the biggest hat possible, but if you do want two of these kinds of effects, like to have them like go around his body or something, they come with more of the smaller hats too. I think the effects are really cool. I won't be displaying him like this, but I'll see if I can get him into some poses later for you guys with that. Another thing I was very curious about was whether or not you could put one of these hats into this hand right over here. Oh, you could have that, okay. So you can have him holding the hat too. Now these are the WinderFest exclusive parts, so they'll ship it to you in the box with the figure if you do end up purchasing the WinderFest. Now, I do not know what this directly translates to, but it's definitely a quote from him, I would assume. And arguably his most iconic appearance is with the Zeppeli hat, so I'll throw that on right now. Now, here are some size comparisons with other Part 1 figures. He towers over him with the Zeppeli hat, but he is just a tad shorter with his regular hair. And he is just about the same height as Zeppeli, but with the hat, of course, he'll be a bit taller. And for more comparison, here he is with a regular figure like Rohan. Yeah, the size of these Part 1 figures is no joke. Now, everything up to the articulation is actually not terrible, but when it comes to the articulation, that's where it gets a little bit hairy. From his head, you don't really get to go that much back and forth because of the hair. Swivel is almost impossible because of the hair as well. His shoulders somehow got even worse from Zeppeli's, and they do not even turn. I'm going to try heating it up, but I do not want to scratch any of the paint on this figure. Guys, just listen to this. It's very tight. Shoulders luckily have another hinge over here to circle all the way around. Because of his sculpt, the arms only go up to here, Now, wrist is just a standard ball hinge. It's just the same as just about every other Super Action statue figure besides Chris, but overall the arms on this figure are not great. Ab crunch is not really there. Coattails kind of fold in on themselves, but if you get them in a jumping pose, they have a hinge over here in the back, and they're kind of separated, so you can get them into more dynamic poses. I think it looks pretty good. I like the idea here. I mean, it folds in pretty nicely. The legs are not terrible, they kick up all the way. Knee only gets to about 90 degrees, and ankle hinge is not terrible whatsoever. Here's his thigh swivel, and knee swivel is not really that good. Overall, the articulation is very clunky, but then again, you have to look at this figure once and decide, man, that is a lot of plastic, and they probably were going for looks here. At the end of the day, I really do like this figure. It's just the fact that he has little to no articulation. Luckily, the character is Robert E.O. Speedwagon, and he doesn't really get into many dynamic poses, and putting him with his hand on his hat, or just simply checking out his spinny hat things, or whatever you want to call them, I believe that the figure can look good in certain poses, but he is severely limited. Now, standing up regularly is nothing terrible, but when it comes to arm articulation, I would really like to expect, at least from Medicos, a lot more care put into that. Especially considering, even with Zeppeli, we were able to get him to do a lot more dynamic arm poses too. So maybe if they scaled the figure a bit more downwards and trimmed a little bit of this, we would have been able to move the figure a lot more. Now, if you didn't get the WinderFest, you are missing out on the hat. So if you really want the hat, I believe some sellers will be selling just that individually down the road. Now, as somebody who is also displaying a Zeppeli figure, I'm going to be keeping the regular Speedwagon hat regardless, because I do not want two of them on my shelf at once. I also debated getting another Speedwagon just to have him with this hat on. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and please let me know your thoughts and feelings on the figures and what other content you would like in the future. Happy holidays, and goodbye.